Good afternoon. You're watching AB Live, a brand new news-based chat show in which we discuss topics ranging from news, business, politics, and so much more. On today's episode, we will be discussing a very trending topic, which is investment by citizenship. And in the studios today, we have Gaetano Giornofelice, who is the senior consultant at Vazir Group. Thank you so much for joining us, Gaetano.
Thank you.
Right. So, firstly, can you tell us about Vazir Group? What does it do?
Well, Vazir Group is an investment immigration boutique company that offers ease in obtaining permanent residency, for example, in Canada, Malta, and Portugal, as well as permanent residency in Cyprus and the Caribbean countries. So we help people facilitate their travels to these various countries.
All right. So basically, you deal with citizenship and providing permanent residency, essentially.
Yes.
So if I had to ask you, what exactly is the difference between obtaining a citizenship and a permanent residency? What would it be?
Well, permanent residency and citizenship, you basically have the same type of benefits that the government offers. Permanent residency, the main difference is travel, really. You can't travel to as many visa-free countries as you can being a citizen of that particular country.
Right. Okay. Right. So we've obviously seen a growing demand for second passports, especially in the region. We've seen a lot of people coming in, which is why there are organizations like Vazir in the country. But right now, who do you say the demand is essentially coming from? Which nationalities? Are they expatriates who are living in the UAE, or are they locals or people from the GCC?
We're getting them from a number of regions. For example, China is a big market. India is a big market. Lebanon, Syria, some of the countries that there's turmoil, they're looking for a second passport, a safer place to raise their family or start a business or continue with their business.
Right.
So that's the type of people we're getting.
Right. You mentioned one reason, which is geopolitical situations, of course. But what are the other reasons, which is why there has been such a huge demand for second passports?
Well, I can use Canada for an example. We have free education for children, and I understand you pay for education here for your child. So there's a lot of cost savings there. If you have a business that you're starting up a business, or you want to bring a business to Canada, you're in close proximity to the United States. So the opportunity for growth is phenomenal for someone with a second passport, such as Canada.
Right. So can you tell us more about the other benefits that people who have a second passport get over the ones who have a single passport, especially people from the Asian and Middle Eastern countries?
With a second passport, again, you can travel to many countries. For example, in Canada, there's 172 countries that you can travel to without a visa.
Right.
So the benefit, whether it's business or even vacationing with your family, it's the ease of travel.
All right.
That's the big benefit. And again, the schooling, it's free. It's there's an endless list of the benefits that come with a passport.
Okay, great. So Gaetano, what would you say is the cost that is involved behind obtaining a second passport? How much would somebody have to pay to get another one?
Well, it varies, again, from the islands to Canada to Portugal to Malta, Cyprus. It ranges from approximately 100,000 US dollars right up to about $500,000 plus. Again, depending on the program you're looking for, each country offers a different program.
Right. So I understand it's a different process in each country. But when we're talking about investment by citizenship, most countries, especially the countries that we're talking about, the countries in question, that's Canada, Cyprus, and Malta, which you just mentioned right now, they require a sort of investment. It can be in real estate or bonds, etc. So, for example, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cyprus requires an investment of at least 2 million euros.
Correct.
So that you can obtain the citizenship. My question to you is, do you think this is worth it? Like, you're investing so much and the return on these investments are, mind you, not too high. So is it actually worth it?
Again, it depends on each individual. Why do you need a second passport? Again, you're leaving a troubled area and you want safety for your family, then cost really is irrelevant for safety for your family or education for your children. So I would say, yeah, it's a great investment.
Right. Okay. And so do you see a lot of investors from this region moving to these countries?
We have had a lot of interest. A lot of interest.
Right. So now if we're talking about countries, for example, Palestine, where a lot of people, especially the ones residing here, they don't really have passports and they use travel documents. So would you say that your services can be provided to these people as well? Or are you just targeting a specific sector of the society, the ones who are going to invest in different countries?
We have strong legal teams in every country that we offer our service to. So whether it's a travel document or a passport, we do our best to facilitate getting these people what they want, basically. So yeah, no, we don't discriminate against anyone.
All right. Okay, great. So now we have spoken about Cyprus, Canada, and Malta, and some of the other regions and countries in the world where people are looking to obtain a second passport. But Bunda Busman, who was our chief reporter, had also done a report on this last year, and there was a feature in Arabian Business. So here's a quick look at the report and the interview.
We live in an uncertain world fraught with geopolitical tensions, social upheaval, and economic ups and downs. For these reasons and many more, people around the world are increasingly looking for second citizenships to secure their assets and a better future for themselves and their family. But what are these programs and how exactly do they work? To find out, I spoke to Jeremy Savory, the CEO and founder of Savory & Partners.
There are certain countries in the world where it's legal to obtain citizenship, provided you meet certain criteria. One of which is the financial contribution which you need to make. It's to real estate, a financial product, or one-time investment, which is non-refundable.
EU passports are the most in demand and therefore the most expensive. There are also well-established and more affordable options. At the end of the day, it all depends on what the client is looking for.
Everybody wants an EU citizenship. And I say everybody, not everybody, but the vast majority of people do want an EU citizenship. And I can understand that. I mean, the benefits that come with it are innumerable. Having said that, it's priced accordingly. So Malta, you're not looking at less than €1 million investment when you put it all together. Cyprus is €2 million, but in the Caribbean you can do it for around $100,000. Okay, you're comparing apples with pears. But definitely we have a very clear difference between two types of clients. So you've got sort of your ultra high net worths or investors that are looking not just for a passport for travel purposes. They're looking to create a shift in their disrupt their kind of legacy, if you will, where they went from one particular nationality, let's say Afghani or Iranian or Nigerian or whatever, and just became a European citizen for generations to follow, as well as the benefits such as healthcare, education, business opportunities, residency, everything.
Right, so that was Bernd who spoke about how people are wanting to move towards EU, and that is one of the key destinations that is being very, very attractive right now due to a number of reasons. But coming to you again now, so I need to ask you about the regulatory measures that are being taken for these things, because passport is a very, very important personal identification document. So is there an independent regulatory body that oversees these operations, or is it the embassy, or is it the foreign ministry of the countries in question that actually overlooks this?
Once the application is submitted to the embassy, they do their due diligence on security, finances, everything involved in obtaining a passport. So they do all the due diligence that's required.
So what do you mean by due diligence? What is it that they actually look for?
Security checks, background checks to make sure that there's no criminality involved, no previous activity that they're unwanted in these countries, basically. So
right, okay, because could this be a leeway for people, especially the ones who are involved in fraudulent activities, to sort of find an alternative in such a way? For example, if there are people involved in activities, for example, money laundering, financial frauds, etc., could a second passport or a second citizenship in another country provide as an alternative for them to escape all of this, essentially?
Well, again, the due diligence on someone applying for a second passport would hopefully eliminate that person getting a second passport and using it to to deal with their fraudulent business.
Right.
So
Not really.
I don't think so. No.
Not really.
No.
All right. Great.
There's too many
So-
security gates
Okay.
that have to be passed.
All right. So speaking of the security gates, so how does it work exactly? So is there a visa waiver agreement that needs to be signed between the countries, or is it done on an individual basis?
It's all individual basis. So an application submitted goes to the visa officer or the unit that, at the embassy that's reviewing the application, and they do all the background checks and so forth.
All right. So it doesn't really depend on the passport that an individual holds. It actually depends on the
individual
person's
visa.
credibility.
That's right. Correct.
Okay, interesting. So what are the different digital services that Vazir provides where people could actually just do it by themselves?
We don't have a digital. Are you saying someone coming onto our website to download it and do their
the
own
website
thing?
or an app?
Well, that's basically why we're there. We're there to facilitate, to make things easier. Sometimes those things get very complicated. You know, when you go onto a website and you try to complete a document and it doesn't make sense or it's very difficult, that's where we come in. Vazir Group will take care of everything for you. So we submit the completed application, and the applicant has nothing to worry about. There's no concerns.
All right, great. So now, just for the benefit of our viewers who are watching us right now, Gaetano, can you explain to us how exactly, if a person has two passports, how exactly can it be used and how exactly can all of the provisions that it provides be fully exploited?
Again, there's depends on the reason they want the passport. If they want to actually live in that particular country, then they get all the benefits of that country. Again, I'm going to bring you back to Canada because I'm from Canada.
Okay.
So we have social services that you're entitled to. Again, free education, free medical, which is very important. So that passport allows you to take advantage of all those benefits. The traveling is a big thing. A lot of people don't want to wait for that visa, or, you know, biting your nails, is my visa going to be refused? This way, with a passport that doesn't, or that allows you to travel to these countries without a visa, facilitates and takes that stress off you.
All right. So apart from the countries that you mentioned here and the countries in the EU, what are the other regions where there could be a lucrative investment opportunity where people from this region would want to obtain a dual citizenship or a passport so they can go there and invest?
You know, I mentioned Malta and Cyprus, and those are the two up-and-coming countries. There's a lot of opportunities there. You're very close to the EU. So again, if you're doing business, it's very simple, very easy to travel in the UE and grow your business. I mean, and again, of course, the investment is much better there.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Gaetano, and thank you for the services you provide with Vazir Group. And thank you for watching AB Live. We will be back again next Tuesday with another topic.